Welcome back to the 90s.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another brand spanking new episode of PT 3600. My name is Ryan, and joining me is
Ashton.
Hey, man, how's it going?
It's going.
What's that? No, we're not going to do that. We're going to go through a whole... I can't go through a whole 90s podcast. Yeah, there you go. Psych. No, yeah, so we're going to talk about in this episode how things used to be. And though in the year of 2020, we are turning 25, it doesn't necessarily mean we can't look back at what used to be. How our childhood used to be. Now, we did talk about what we watched as a kid, but we're going to talk about what we played with as toys, or what we experienced during that time, because it was a different time. Like, that was 25 years ago is 1995, but like there was stuff that was also happening pre-90s that happens that kind of leaks into when we were we were children. We may talk about early 2000s too, because that's also like technically when we're like our brains are actually working at that time. But Ashton, why don't you? Where do we want to go? Where do we want to take this beginning of this?
I mean, I guess we could kind of start with like Happy Meal toys, man. Happy
Meal toys. That was an interesting time for Happy Meal toys.
It was. Oh my god. You know, it was they would change every single time like a new trend would be going. So like if a new movie came out, like I think they had Lion King stuff at one point.
Yeah, Disney had exclusive toys with McDonald's during the 90s, which was man, interesting time.
I think they also did stuff with like Bionicles when that was the thing. And yeah, dude, I always remember like Happy Meal was like the coolest shit ever. You always be fighting with your siblings to get the best toy, and then you try and collect them all. Yeah, dude, it was
yeah, they gave out Furbies. Like I'm looking up some of these, and they gave out the Happy Meal Furbies. I remember getting one of those.
Yeah.
The Mighty Ducks. They gave out the Mighty Ducks on like little hockey pucks. Man, there's been a lot. There's been a lot of pretty interesting toys they got there.
A lot of cool stuff. And then there was like the computer game on there where like you'd have to go and I don't know, you were chasing Ronald McDonald or something. You were like this weird furball looking thing. I don't know. It was weird. And you got to like create your own, so you got to choose your color and stuff. It was pretty cool. But yeah, man.
Dude, okay, I'm trying to see. There were VHS tapes. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Ronald McDonald had.
Yeah.
And they gave them out, and I'm looking them up right here, and I'm about to blow your freaking mind, like, because I'm about to show you this in the Discord. But like, oh god, look at this monstrosity. They did. I think they came out in the 90s though.
God.
Oh, there were so many. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I don't remember the one that you put up, but there was a different one.
Yeah, I had. Oh my god, there's a lot. I had Birthday World. I did have that one.
I had one or two of them.
So here, let's break this down here. I believe these came out in the 90s. I'm not entirely sure. I'm trying to check them out here, see if there's a Wikipedia. The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald. And it is a horrifying looking Ronald McDonald. Like, it looks like coked out Ronald McDonald. So it's called The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald. I don't know if you want to look this up, Ashton, so you got your viewpoint of this. But it was a mini-series. This is what Wikipedia classifies it as. A mini-series adventure fantasy comedy musical mystery science fiction show. Like, there's so many genres in this whole thing.
But oh my god.
1998 to 2003. Yep, it's the 90s. I did have these. I definitely had these. The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald.
I had these. Yeah.
A total of 6 40-minute episodes were produced and released on VHS exclusively in partnering McDonald's restaurants from October 9th, 1998 to January 30th, 2003. And
I remember the little bird chick.
Yeah, because it introduced all the characters. That's the only way I know like some of these characters, like the Hamburglar and what else they got here. I'm trying to look at. I'm looking at a list here. I'm not looking at a picture, so that's kind of throwing it off here. But
Oh god, just Barney.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, yeah. Barney was a '90s thing too.
Yeah, he was. Creepy son of a bitch.
But yeah, I see this like pirate one, and like on the cover, it's like the bird one, the dog. I don't know what the dog is. I think that was just exclusive to this whole debauchery of a VHS tape. Ronald McDonald and Grimace are on the front cover of it. Oh god, what a weird thing. Who was the cast in this thing? There's I don't know. Jim Cummings was in it. He's a pretty big voice actor. He played Winnie the Pooh and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple voice actors in here, but man, that I do remember that. That was a weird time because you got that in a. It was so weird because they did a live action, and then in the live action of them introducing with like talking with the kids and stuff, then they would like jump through like a slide. And then they would be teleported into the animated version of where they are, Ronald McDonald's Playhouse. And then they would go on this adventure, and then they would go through the slide again, and then they would come back to reality. It's so weird.
Yeah, dude. I thought that was like when
a fever dream.
When I found out it wasn't real, I was like, man, that's really cool because I didn't know special effects were a thing yet.
Yeah.
And so I just thought it was like this crazy big studio that they had. I'm like, man, I want to go there and go hang out. That's so cool.
God, the animation.
The room looked like that.
The animation's just horrifying. Looking at Birdie, she is like just crudely drawn. Oh god. And then there's Ronald McDonald's dog. Do you remember what this goddamn thing looked like?
Yeah, it looked like a fucking football.
Look at this. Look at this monster. Look at this monster.
Oh shit.
His name is Sunday.
Holy god.
Look up Ronald McDonald Sunday. And that's it's supposed to be representing the Sunday. Now the animated version of him looks like an animated dog, but good god, they used a puppet to like make the live action version of it, and it's just god awful terrifying.
It looks like Chucky fucking dog.
I don't know who animated this, but it's just so terrible. Oh god.
Let's move on from McDonald's.
Do you remember the chicken nuggets? Oh my god. Look how oh my god, this is something too. Oh my god, that doesn't even look up. Oh
looks
man,
like a potato.
Dude, it is. I don't know who fell asleep at the wheel over there, but they literally took chicken nuggets and they stuck wings on them sides, gave them legs, gave them a mohawk and a face. Oh man.
Wow.
Oh man.
What else do you remember from the 90s?
That was a pretty big chunk of it right there.
What about Pokemon cards, man?
I do remember getting Pokemon cards. Yeah, that was
like
the
everybody had the
of it.
games. Everybody like knew like they played the game, but the real flex was seeing whose binder of Pokemon cards was bigger,
or who knew how to play it. Like I didn't learn how to play Pokemon until like I was probably like 20. So, like yeah, because I took the time to learn it. But
you gotta have some coins, man.
I do.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Let's see here. I've been looking at this website. They're talking about how like we were looking at stuff of yesteryear about what we remember, and there was the cherry Coke cans. There were two different cherry Coke cans that look extremely 90s. The black and red one looks extremely 90s.
Yeah, so it's basically like this red can, and it has like these black I don't know, it's like vines or like veins or something, and it's like all over, and it's all like the font is super weird and like scraggly. It's looks like a low grade like a lot of film grain.
Yeah, it's very
was present. I don't know, it's very grainy.
It's very interesting.
It almost reminds me of like Blair Witch, like the title screen for that.
Oh yeah, like
Like
the black.
red and black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I don't want to go too far into the movies aspect of things because we kind of touched. Well, we touched on the TV shows, but like
Yeah.
Lion King, Pocahontas, Beauty and the Beast, Toy Story. I believe also Hercules came out at this time as well in the 90s.
Yeah. These are the best known Disney productions.
90. I think Aladdin came out in the 90s too. 90s Disney movies. 90s Disney sing-along.
Toy Story, I believe, came out in like late
95
90s as well. 95?
Yeah, 95.
Was 95?
Yep,
Holy
right
shit.
on the dot. Halloween Town came out in that time too, 1998. Nightmare Before Christmas came out in 93. Mulan came out in 98. Hercules came out in 97. Smart House was a DCOM, and that was really I like that one. That's on Disney Plus. Tarzan came out in 99. Bugs Life came out in 98. Hunchback of Notre Dame came out in 96. Don't Look Under the Bed came out in 99. A Goofy movie came out in 95. Oh my gosh.
Damn. I also had Rugrats.
Yeah, yeah.
Rugrats, Wild Thornberrys, which is grossly animated. Everybody looked fucking diseased in it. There was this shit. Oh god damn it. It's on the tip of my tongue.
What are you talking about?
Fuck.
Like an animated cartoon?
No, it was a movie.
Oh.
No, I forgot it. I lost my train of thought.
Well,
Anyway.
funny enough, I don't know when Jimmy Neutron came out, but that was a movie
That was
before it was a show.
Yeah. It just showed up on Netflix too.
Oh, really? The movie?
I've been tempted to watch. Yeah, I've been tempted to rewatch it.
Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius came out in 2001.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember because that's when all the parents disappear and they get to run around town, do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, aliens come and take them all.
Yeah,
That's such a weird thing that movie launched a whole series of events.
Yeah, I mean, hey, why not? I mean, the show is quite different.
Yeah.
than the
Well,
movie,
another
obviously.
thing that was kind of happening was it's pre 2001, so a thing you can do like before 2001 is at an airport there wasn't very much security check. It was just walk through the thing and go, and you could walk all the way up to wave goodbye to your family as they get on the airplane, like from the window, from like all the way to when they have to like go like get their ticket scanned and walk all the way down and sit on an airplane. You could walk all the way up there, but now it's literally say your hugs and goodbyes on the curb and get the fuck out of here. Like you don't got time.
Yep, and beefed up security and stuff like that.
TSA and stuff.
Man, yeah, it's very, very different. It takes way longer now. What about some like the toys we had, like the Bop It? That shit was fucking good.
Bop it.
I got really good at that.
Pull it. Now there was only 3 things though. Twist it, bop it, and pull it. That's the original Bop It.
Oh, I had like the Flick It one as well.
No, that was later. The original Bop It is just a stick with a big button in the middle of it. It's just
Really?
yeah. Look, yeah.
I guess I didn't have the original one. I had the later one then.
Yeah. I'm trying to look up what happened in 95. There's a book that actually says stuff that happened in 95 that I had, but I don't have that anymore.
Oh, okay.
Let's see here. There's a lot of politics stuff here.
Oh man, what was that? Who let the dogs out?
Oh yeah, the Baja Men.
Yeah,
Dude, that was my jam, man.
It was everybody's jam.
Yeah.
Oh man, that shit was funny.
What day is your birthday?
March 20th.
March 20th. Your birthday was on a Monday.
Oh.
And my birthday on March 31st was on a Friday. Popular songs. Oh, wait here. Hold on. Never mind. I read the wrong thing. Popular musicians. We have Weezer, Smashing Pumpkins,
okay.
Rage
Yes.
Against the Machine,
Yes.
Van Halen. What? popular musician
I
in
thought that was from
95.
the 80s.
I know. It's like maybe they came back. Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Madonna, Garth Brooks, Janet Jackson. Yeah, he was a big deal in the 90s. Some popular films: Toy Story, obviously, Batman Forever, Apollo 13, Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, so the sequel.
Yeah.
GoldenEye came out. Casper the Friendly Ghost, I remember that one. Jumanji came out in 95.
Really?
Die Hard with a Vengeance and Braveheart.
Braveheart was good too.
Some technology that came out was obviously Windows 95. JavaScript was first introduced and deployed. eBay started the online auction and shopping website where people buy and sell goods and services worldwide. Let's see here. DVDs, the optical disc storage media format, is announced. Didn't come out, but it was announced. In the U.S., Major League Baseball players end a 232-day strike. That's interesting.
Jesus.
That's, well. Good grief. There's some actual really bad stuff. Interesting stuff that happened, though.
What's the bad stuff?
Let's see here. Nerve gas put in Tokyo subway injures thousands.
Jesus Christ!
Hey, you wanted me to read the bad stuff.
Oh my god.
O.J. Simpson is found innocent. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that was in here. O.J., don't at me. I know you're on Twitter.
You definitely did that shit.
Riots break out in Brixton, London. In New York City, more than 170 countries decide to extend their nuclear I don't know. I'm done. These ones suck. These are all like downers.
Oh god. Yo, when were tech decks?
Tech decks. I think it was
90s or 2000s.
I don't know. Let's see here.
Might have been early 2000s. I don't remember. I know all the accessories came later because you could get like little half pipes and stuff.
Tech Deck was started as an idea by a 12-year-old boy in 1998. It was launched in 2000.
Damn, man.
Yeah, there you go.
12-year-old kid is making bank right now.
Probably not. His uncle's probably making that.
Maybe.
Oh, what do you got there, Jimmy? Oh, it's just this little piece of cardboard I put some wheels on. Oh, I'm gonna be. Now, Tim, do you have anything for the board meeting? Actually, I do. And that's how it began.
God damn it. Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Some of those were in the 90s. I don't remember which ones were in the 90s or 2000s. I mean, we're like 95, so I mean we're 90s to 2000s kids.
Yeah.
So I mean, we had all the Tony Hawk games, all the good ones.
Half-Life came out in 98.
Damn, really?
Yeah. The first one. That's the first. Yeah. The Legend of Zelda, well, it came out in 1986. Why is that even listed here? I guess it technically bleeds into 90s kids would know what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Metal Gear Solid, 98.
Metal Gear Solid, nice.
Donkey Kong Country, 94.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. We had like, I think the first console I played on was Super Nintendo, and then I played on the Nintendo 64 and the Dreamcast. Were all my 90s, and Game Boy, of course.
Mortal Kombat came out in 92.
Really?
Mortal Kombat 2 came out in 93. Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior, came out in 91. I'm kind of just skipping some here. This is like a top 50. Diablo came out in 96. Roller Coaster Tycoon launched in 1998. I do remember playing some Roller Coaster Tycoon in my childhood. That was definitely something. I really liked it. I really loved playing Roller Coaster NBA Jam came out in 94. Mario Kart 64 came out in 96. Banjo-Kazooie came out in 98. Super Smash Brothers came out in 99. Super Smash Brothers is the first one, right? Isn't that the first one? Came out on 64, I believe.
That would be the first. Yeah, Super Smash Bros.
Unreal Tournament came out in 99, made by Epic Games. Resident Evil 2 came out in 98. Hopefully, are you looking up stuff, or you just want to hear what?
I'm just listening to your stuff.
Okay, feel free to jump in anytime. I'm Resident Evil, the first one, was in 96. Let's see here. We got Sonic the Hedgehog 2, came out in 92. I'm cracking the top 20.
Did you play? Did you have a lot of time to play like games and stuff, or were you kicked outside all the time?
I was kicked outside a lot because I lived in Idaho when I was young, and so we had the weather to like just go outside or go to the pool or do something like that, and we rollerbladed. I would rollerblade because I lived in a cul-de-sac, so. I knew the kids that were in that cul-de-sac, so I just rollerblade to their houses at the age of like 5 or 6.
Nice.
Which is crazy to even think about nowadays, because I could have got freaking kidnapped and taken forever and sold onto the black market. But yeah, back then you just skate wherever you wanted to go, all alone. I didn't have anyone with me.
Yeah, it's a very different world now. Like, I remember, because I lived in a cul-de-sac, my mom would not let us go past the mailbox. So we would basically have we'd have this whole street, let's just say it's like 300 feet long on a cul-de-sac at the end. So I basically had the whole cul-de-sac. We were kind of like right at the edge of where the cul-de-sac part is. So we would basically have like maybe 50 feet plus the cul-de-sac that we were able to do. We were able to go playing no matter what, because my mom wanted to just be able to hear us and it'd be all good. So, but like now, people let their kids just go wherever the hell they want. But we also had sex offenders where we lived, so.
Jeezums.
They're everywhere, dude. There's sex offenders everywhere. If you look
but you wouldn't have known that in the 90s.
Oh yeah, you get it in
the mailbox.
They'd have to come up to the door and announce themselves. They'd come and knock on every door.
Come and knock on our door. Okay, maybe that's
like, hi, reference. I'm a sex offender. I have to let you know. Okay, nice meeting you. Goodbye.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. So yeah, it was interesting times. That was like most of my childhood was definitely me being outside. My mom was like, go play outside. We always had like neighbor kids. We'd all of us would be kicked outside. If one of us was outside, everybody else's parents were like, hey, so-and-so's outside. Get the fuck out.
Jeez.
So yeah, wasn't a lot of time for video games. But
yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, I definitely had, but I also knew people in my area because so yeah, I guess we can talk a little bit about like what it was like in our early childhood. Mine was a little interesting. It's not as like, so my parents got divorced when I was about 4 years old, 4 or 5. And from then it was every summer I would go over to my dad's, which my dad stayed in Idaho, and my mom moved to Washington, and I moved with her. I did not get to choose. It was chosen for me on that. And from there, I started school in Washington, but I would start, like, if I was to go over to my dad's house, I didn't fly, which was kind of interesting. They didn't fly me out there, but I was pretty young. But my grandpa, Dave, would drive me from Washington all the way up to a midway point, and then my dad would pick me up, and then we would drive the rest of the way back.
Man, you're
every single summer.
Hours.
But I kept my friends. I actually am friends with a couple of them on Facebook now. I looked them up later in life, but Yeah, they were like my next door neighbor, uh, and we would just do everything that whole entire like summer. We would play street hockey was a thing because obviously rollerblades were a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I would go see movies in Idaho, at the Regal Theater they had there, and then I would go to the Boondocks, which is like a theme park sort of thing. It's more so it's like a water. They built a water park on that, which they later called Roaring Springs. Now I have not looked up what this place looks like in a while. Let me see what this is. That was in like Nampa, Idaho. Yeah, go ahead if you want to. I'm gonna look up Boondocks here.
Oh man. Let's see. Like yeah, for like I remember they used to make bikes like where my dad would like try and teach me how to ride a bike. He took off the training wheels and basically pushed me down a hill and said, "All right, now pedal. Remember to balance." Yeah, I ate shit in the grass.
Yeah, my dad taught me how to ride a bike too.
I eventually ended up learning on my own because that was just like, nah, I don't want to do that anymore.
How old were you?
I was like 4 when you did that.
I think I was about 3 or 4 too when I learned how to ride a bike.
And then I finally like learned when I was like 5. I just kind of taught myself at that point because I saw some other kids doing like, yeah, I want to play with them. But like they didn't have the handbrakes. It was all you just backpedal and it like brakes for you. And I remember the designs of like all the bikes that the kids would have would be like crazy to have like lightning on them or something. That was like the big thing with like the bikes. None of them were just plain, have a clean look. They always got to be fucking radical designs. Everything. It was all about multiple colors, crazy, wicked, cool design.
Wicked sweet.
Yeah, dude. And then people would just deck them out with like cards to make them sound different. My sister had streamers.
Roaring Springs is kind of. Is this the right place? Meridian, Idaho. Yeah, it is. Yo, they actually got like a hotel and stuff now. They didn't used to have that. It was literally just drive up and do it. Here's their website.
That's cool.
But like, yeah, what Roaring Springs used to just be like a water park, and you would, it's called Woo's Family Fun Center, but we always called it the Boondocks for whatever reason. I don't know. It could have been that like thing that you call it as a kid, but it's actually not called that. Like that's how it was. So this kind of goes into what I watched as a kid too. When I was over at my dad's house, we would watch like different programs that I wouldn't probably find because I never flipped off of Nickelodeon, Disney, or Cartoon Network.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad showed me Whose Line Is It Anyway? And I never watched that as like other than I always referred to it as The Funny Show, and my dad knew it as The Funny Show, like because I kept calling it that, and so anytime I referred to it, it was always Whose Line Is It Anyway? I didn't learn the name of the show until I was probably in like 3rd grade, but I had watched it for like 3 years before that.
Oh Jesus.
But yeah, so I guess it could have changed its name as well, like this thing. Roaring Springs has not changed its name though, so I'm assuming Wahoo's is the actual name of what it is. But I always called it the Boondocks. I don't know why. I think my dad called it that, but anyway. But man, they got like a whole resort going on here.
That's pretty cool. Did you ever have
this water slide though?
Oh my god. Did you ever have a slip and slide?
I did not have a slip and slide.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, dude.
I knew friends that had slip and slides, but I did not have one.
So my siblings, we would go through a slip and slide every summer. So like my mom would keep having to buy a new one because we'd always rip a hole in it. And my dad went on it once because he was feeling pretty good that day. It was one of his very few days off. And he went on it. And he went fucking flying through it. Oh my god. Because what we do, it has the water on it that's continuously going because you hook it up to the hose. But my mom also put dish soap on it to make it extra slippery. So my dad went on it and he shot through. There's like a little pool at the end that's supposed to stop you and slow you down because you just hit like this big giant puddle of water at the end. But my dad just went right through it and it just fucking ripped, and all of it just started spewing out the fucking back. So eventually, like, this had been like our 4th year in a row with one, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not gonna buy these anymore. So like the next, like, a week or two after that, she came back from Home Depot or something. She's like, all right, kids, we're gonna do the slip and slide today. And she's like, but I gotta set it up though, it's gonna take a while. Like, okay. And we're just watching from the living room. It's like fucking 9:30 or 10 o'clock in the morning. She's out there. She's got like a bunch of plastic sheeting and like pegs, and she legit just like grabbed it's basically like a giant clear tarp that's like the plastic sheeting, like,
oh
just
my god, this
that.
is so,
and it's
freaking,
yes,
oh god, this is so ghetto.
It is but it was like, I want to say it was about 15 feet wide, and then we would go down about, I want to say 30-ish feet in length. So it was a long slip and slide. So, it doesn't have that little tube on the side for the water to spout out. So my mom would basically just get this sprinkler that we just had, for like watering your grass, because you used to have to get those instead of like having a sprinkler system. And she would just have it go over right in like the center. And we had like a very slight slope in our front yard. So we just have it that way. And then she would put legit a whole bottle of dish soap on that fucker.
Oh my god.
And oh my god, all the kids came over. We had a fucking blast. And there was like, it was uneven. It wasn't like,
oh, you didn't have nice the lawn wasn't mowed all the way. There's some patchy spots.
it was mowed, but it's still patchy because it's dry in the summer. So it's you'd have like little potholes, basically, little mini potholes. It's just giant puddles that you're just going through. You're like, oh fuck, and then like people started to get brave, right? Yeah. And so we started going down and trying to do like show off in front of each other, so you could do the coolest thing. And we would start just kind of pretending we were surfing. So we would just go on standing up and trying to slide all the way down it. Ended up in a lot of injuries, but it was okay. We were kids, so we just got up and went back on there. But it got to a point where one of us accidentally knocked into one another, and then it just became a giant game of human bowling.
Oh my god!
It was.
How did you guys not like break anything?
I don't know. We drank a lot of milk.
Yeah, there you go. Apparently that's a sham, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Calcium, I mean, kind of does help with your bone.
I don't know how it all works out. To me, I'm like, well, I haven't broken a bone and I drink a lot of milk. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same way, and I've fallen off of 2-story buildings. So, you know what? I'm sticking by it.
Yeah, it's worked out for me.
Yep. So yeah, it was. That's how summer around our place would go.
So I'm looking here on the Wikipedia page of the 90s, and it says, driven by mass adoption, consumer personal computer specifications increased dramatically during the 1990s. They're talking right here. It goes on for a couple sentences here, but they talk about how much of an advancement it was. And we got so close to a gigabyte of RAM by 2000. Just so you know, a gigabyte of RAM is nothing, because modern day RAM can go up to like 32 and 64 gigabytes of RAM. And everyone was shocked you could get almost one. I'm looking also here. The first Pentium microprocessor is introduced and developed by Intel Corporation. Email becomes popular. As a result, Microsoft acquires popular Hotmail website service.
Oh, Hotmail.
Yeah, I didn't know they didn't own that at a time. Instant messaging and the buddy list feature becomes popular. AIM and ICQ are two equally protocols. Which AIM, that it's a little bit before. I think that was for like when you're in like middle school or late elementary school. People had AIM accounts. I think ours was more of MySpace, but I don't know when MySpace started.
I was too young to use it. My parents wouldn't let me use it yet because we had like a little desktop computer, but no MySpace.
I did have a MySpace, but like way towards the end of it. What is a MySpace? Is still a website?
Yeah.
Featured content on MySpace. Oh, it's like music. This is very interesting. You think it still works? You think my MySpace account still works? Let me see here.
Oh, God. You even remember your fucking email for that?
Let me see. Well, the email I used is shut down, so we'll see if I can get in.
Oh, boy.
And
while you're doing that...
it's funny, you can actually use Facebook or Twitter to sign in.
What?
Yeah, it says you can sign in with it.
Doesn't Facebook own it now, though?
No, I think they're their own thing.
I thought somebody bought MySpace out.
Oh no, it's not gonna let me go. I gotta remember the password. I'm pretty sure it's just. There's no way I would have been anything else than. Nope, I think they got rid of a lot of things because of inactivity. There was also another thing here though. The first MP3 player, the MP Man, I don't know, is released in late spring 1998. It came with 32 megabytes of flash memory, expandable to 64 megabytes. Good God.
That's no stereo. It's probably all mono sound.
Yeah. By the mid 2000s, the MP3 player would overtake the CD player in popularity, which the CD player did also come out in the 90s as well.
Damn, dude.
Apple in 1998 introduces the iMac, an all-in-one computer. CD burner drives are introduced. CD-ROM is introduced. DVD media formats introduced. Pagers.
Pagers.
Well, pagers were big in the 90s. Are insanely popular, but ultimately are replaced by mobile phones by the early 2000s. Yeah, my dad had a pager. I think he had this exact pager that Wikipedia is using. Oh man.
Damn.
Oh man, so many things happened.
Man.
The 25 highest grossing films of the decade. Let's see if you can name okay, we're going to do Family Feud rules, okay? First 10 answers on the board. You get 3 strikes. Go ahead and guess.
What, top 3 highest grossing of
top
90s?
10. You get top 10. Three misses. You get 3 strikes to get them.
Toy Story.
Okay, that is number. Wait here. Where is it? Oh, is that not on the top 10? It is not in the top 10. That's a strike.
Wow. Lion King.
Lion King is number 5.
Okay. Was Titanic from the 90s, the original?
Titanic is from the 90s.
I'll guess that one.
That is number 1.
Let's see. From the 90s. But that Rugrats movie.
No, that did not make it, unfortunately. That is strike 2.
Damn. Let's see. What else came out in the 90s that was like really, really popular?
Yeah. I mean, practically you could guess any movie that was good. Like
Jumanji.
Okay, maybe not every movie.
Oh.
That is strike 3. Okay, so I'm gonna go. This is the 25 list. I'm gonna run them off. You can stop me if you. The Bodyguard, The Mummy, at number 24. Dances with Wolves, Mrs. Doubtfire at 22.
Mrs. Doubtfire for sure, dude.
22, which is pretty good. 25 highest grossing movies out of 10 years, and it got number 22.
Hey, dude,
good.
Mrs. Doubtfire is great.
Tarzan at 21. Mission
watch it.
Impossible started in 1996, topping out the 20. This is the top 20 now. The Matrix at number 19. Pretty Woman at 18. Home Alone at 17. Saving Private Ryan at 16, but it came out in 98. Toy Story 2, 1999. Toy Story did not make this list, which is interesting. Twister at 14. Aladdin at 13. Ghost at 12. Terminator 2 Judgment Day, really good movie. Armageddon at number 10. 9 Men in Black. Men in Black
really?
gets number 9. Yeah, Men in Black came out in 1997. Now, here's the thing about Men in Black. We had the official soundtrack to Men in Black, and my dad tells me to this day that I sang to that soundtrack a lot. Here come the Men in Black, Galaxy Defenders. And Will Smith. That was the beginning of the millennium, man.
The millennium.
The Lost World, Jurassic Park, 1997. That is at number 8. The Sixth Sense at number 7. Forrest Gump at 6. Lion King at 5. Independence Day at 4. Jurassic Park at number 3. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace at number 2. And then the Titanic, which would hold that number 1 spot for years until Avatar knocked it down in 2010.
Yeah, Avatar was a big jump in technology, though. First, like, big 3D movie.
Yeah, but Titanic, right there, highest grossing movie of the decade. Came out in 97. So,
great movie. Great movie.
They have some actors and entertainers here, but there's a lot of them. Yeah, I'm not going to read them all.
Nah.
Filmmakers came out in the 90s. A lot of them there. Quentin Tarantino, Tim Burton, I guess really signified their names. M. Night Shyamalan. I'm just kind of bouncing around here. David Lynch, Martin Scorsese, a lot of people. Ron Howard.
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, is the musicians and bands here. You got Puff Daddy, Nas, Backstreet Boys, Radiohead, Smashing Pumpkins, Daft Punk.
Daft Punk's from the 90s?
I guess so, yeah. U2, Bon Jovi. Some of these are pretty older than that. But I guess I think they're just classifying what like who people were listening to in that decade.
Yeah.
So like Oasis is here. Wu-Tang Clan.
Is there anything that you would like
Korn.
any like trademark thing that you would do as a kid that kids today probably don't do?
I don't really know. I would say like yeah,
just,
go ahead.
A lot of them are already just like just on the technology train. Like more technology that's, you know, come up for like kids to just start doing right away. You know, the heavier they got because they don't go outside. So I don't know.
Yeah, that is the thing. Is I was gonna jokingly say going outside, because as much as I as a kid didn't really, I was kind of forced to go outside, but I didn't have anything to worry about. Like I could ride my bike to places. I didn't do it all the time, but I mean like it was an option. I could ride my bike to school, or I could go do something at someone else's house, but I'd have to ride my bike there. And it's just, it was an option to do those things. But like I was saying, you know, I would rollerblade to my friend's house that was like a block and a half away, and I was probably only like 7. Like, because my dad moved over here when I was like 9, so it had to be before then.
Man, you're allowed to go far.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't think about it. You didn't really
go to the end of the street until I was like 8.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I also was at my dad's house, so you know.
Well,
I got away with some stuff that I probably did, you know. But I don't know. It was just it's the thing. A reason why I think people like the '90s so much is I think it's the last decade that it was still a time of not caring as much. It wasn't this like, oh, I have to coddle. I mean, I'm sure there was coddling, and there was always a coddling decade. There's families that do that, but I think it's just more of the you just assumed that everything was okay. You kind of just went on your daily day, did your thing, and then went back to your home and spent time with your family. I think at that time also families were a big deal. I don't think families are as big a deal in like the late aughts and the 2010s and the beginning of 2020. Because now it's like you could be single the rest of your life. You don't have to be married at the age of 25. You don't have to go to college anymore. You can take college classes online. Like there's no need to go places anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, everything's just at our fingertips now. You can just do all this stuff from the comfort of your own home. I mean, the only thing that I can't even say that people are going to be socially awkward either, because every kid is online nowadays. The new playground is online, playing games. You can even for example, like on Xbox, they have the looking for group posts, and you can hit a box that says kids only, and you can have a bunch of kids come hang out, and you make new friends. You go play a game together, explore, do your things, just all online.
Well, I was listening to, because at the time of this recording, kind of dating this one, but whatever, PAX South is happening. PAX South 2020 is happening. And I was listening to the Penny Arcade guys, Gabe and Tycho, Mike and Jerry. They were doing a Q&A, and one of them was talking about, one of them had an answer, or a question about, like, what would you recommend for gaming communities, like, now that you guys are fathers to your sons? And they're like, well, we can't really do that anymore. There's not really gaming, like the gaming communities now are not what they were. It was your friends on the schoolyard that were your gaming community. That was it. Now it's like you got Mixer, you got Twitch, you got all these other different things, and YouTube and gaming communities are now a fan base. It's like you're a fan of like IGN or Markiplier or Rooster Teeth or things like that. You're not, your community is now this giant fan base of thousands of people, and no longer your buddy on the swing set.
That's a fair point. Yeah, I mean that's how it was for us too, up to a point, up until about high school, and that kind of changed around high school time, but for me personally. But yeah,
there's also go ahead.
I totally relate with that. So
yeah, and there's also the you're talking about like social awkwardness. I think it's more abundant now that you would have social awkwardness, because back then you didn't feel wrong trying to get to know somebody. Now it's like you're expected to know based on my Facebook updates, I'm on Xbox, so I play Xbox games. That's how you met me. Or I'm not saying you and I, just like in general, these people would be connected on, or even dating. It's like the person, like 6 or 7 things based on your Tinder profile. So it's like now you don't have to go and talk to somebody in your class to know this person. You could easily go Facebook stalk them for about 15 minutes and know everything to start about 7 different conversations with them, which back then you couldn't do. There was no social network.
There was no cheat sheet.
Yeah. You were just friends, or you weren't friends, and you could start a new friendship, but it wasn't necessary.
Well, another thing that that's like important to realize is that we had to learn how to differentiate what you can say online, what you can say in person. Now, a lot of people today, like kids, they'll be talking like they're online with their buddies, talking shit and trying to have fun, and they end up disrespecting their parents and other adults. I'm starting
Yeah.
to see that a lot more now.
Yeah, the disrespectfulness is probably a little bit higher up now too. Yeah. I mean, it's just I think I don't know, it's a really interesting situation, and I think that's why people, I don't as a lot of people don't classify kids from 95 as 90s kids. Some of them don't. Some of them classify it as like that's the end of 90s cuz you're just old enough to realize what's happening in 1999. And then after that, most of our childhood happens in the early 2000s.
Right.
But the thing is like we know what happens. I think really truly the reason why September 11th is such an iconic day or notorious day is because it did change how we all did stuff. There was several things that happened after 9/11 that really did. The DC sniper happened after 9/11. The threat of terrorist attacks were something that no one even really thought about. Like anthrax happened a little bit before that, I think, before 9/11. I can't remember exactly when that happened, but like the scares of things were beginning in that early time because people nowadays are more accessible, more able to be messed with than I think ever really before, but we're also more aware of it. News happens every second now. Back then, the police and news media were dealing with 24 hours. Now we're literally dealing by the second news. If something happens, Q13 Fox, which is our local channel here in Washington, Seattle side, they'll post it on their Facebook page. If they're not on the air, they'll post it right on their Facebook page. Live streams happen now. News media is constantly happening. So yeah, I think it's really like 9/11 changed the thought process of us, and social networks brought us together and also drove a spike through us all. So it's a very interesting thought to think about, like early 2000s and on to 1999 and before. So
yeah, I mean, even like I would go as far as saying that a lot of us are desensitized now just because like you get so much hitting you all the time that's just like, okay, cool. Like how meme culture now, like we're making fun of a possible World War III, which I mean, I don't, whatever. Like, I don't really think that's going to happen, but it's just like people were making fun of it, even though it could be a possible outcome because of these hostile situations happening. People are getting blown up, and that's just normal news to us now. Like, it just happens all the time. And you're like, oh, okay, well, we did that shit again. Whoops. All right, what's next? What else am I doing today? It's not that you don't care. Just like, I mean, am I supposed to feel like shit all the time because all this shitty stuff is being sent to me in a feed through the news? Like,
yeah, and I mean, it's not necessarily like this didn't happen before. You know what I mean? It's not.
It's just you're getting it more often now.
You're getting it more often. You're hitting like spans of stuff, and now sure, were there serial killers back in like the 70s and 80s and 60s? Yeah, there were, but there were enough to get a name. Like, you know what I mean? Like the Zodiac got a name. There are so many nowadays that they don't even give it the time of day of serial killers really anymore. Now it's just you find out on podcasts of things that, oh yeah, remember that happened? Like, oh yeah, there's like it was all connected and things like that. So
yeah, he killed 20 people. Holy shit.
You're like, oh, okay. Well, someone did that in a church shooting the other day. It's like, and the thing is I don't know, it's just so, I don't want to say the 90s were innocent, but I think it was definitely a different situation. It was a different time. It was literally a different time.
I think I mean, we weren't really developed enough to kind of know what's going on in the world. I would say that, like, at least for the 90s, ignorance was bliss. I mean, that's if things were happening, which I'm sure. I mean, I highly
Yeah, I
doubt
did
that
see the
nothing
list
happened
of
in the 90s.
wars. I think the Gulf War was happening at the time. And
Yeah, so I
things
mean,
like
it's
that. So.
there was some shit going on, but it's just like everybody's so carefree about it and wanted to focus on all the good stuff that was happening because there's a lot of good shit that came out of this. You know, we had a massive boom in technology. Our world changed completely because of what happened in the 90s. We're a completely different fucking world. We can talk to people in different countries real time.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, early 2000s also introduced like the online gaming became bigger and bigger, especially when 2006 hit and Xbox 360 was super popular, so Xbox Live became even more ginormous than when it launched. I think Xbox Live launched in 2004 with the Xbox and Halo and games like that.
oh yeah.
But the thing is like you're right. The technology was super spiking in the 90s to beyond, and they haven't stopped. It just has not stopped. That's why guys like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and Wozniak and all of them are so iconic because sure the Mac and Microsoft were around in the 80s, but they really like dove into their own. Like I was just saying, the iMac, the thing that you see that is thousands upon thousands of dollars now, that's classified as the most luxurious all-in-one computer, is no longer that was like the first time. That was one of the first times we were seeing that. The iMac came out in the 90s. It's just crazy of how much technology advanced in that 10-year span. And sure, video games didn't start in then. Definitely not like the video game decade, but it definitely had some key moments.
It was more so where 3D started to shine.
Yes,
Three-dimensional games started to shine.
Nintendo 64 being one of those consoles.
Right.
The PlayStation came out, I think, at the end. I think in 1997, or 9.
Side scrollers started to slow down a little bit. You know, we had GoldenEye, we had all the 007 games. Pokemon Snap, which we played on the channel, guys. Yeah. You know, we had lots of good shit. Pokemon Stadium. Yeah, we had like a bunch of stuff. Like what was really cool
94
about being a kid in the 90s is you got to experience all those games, all what we now consider classics. You know, they even name them classics now, you know, because the NES Classic, the SNES Classic, you know, all that. You know, we got to experience like a whole new age of gaming as it was coming to fruition. It was insane. Just so much happening at once. You couldn't keep up. Like there was so much shit you had to like buy to stay up with technology. Like cell phones became a thing. We had a home phone for I don't know how long. Nobody has a home phone anymore.
That is true. Yeah, home phone.
Unless you're out in like in the sticks or something where you need a landline.
Yeah, like my parents, they have.
Yeah, like some places still need a landline, which guess we'll see what happens with 5G.
Yeah.
Because there's all sorts of claims that are being made on that, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's one of those things where it just kind of really makes me excited for what's going to be happening in 2020. So far in like 2010, I mean, there wasn't really, in comparison from
pretty
like
big movements there.
Compared to like the 2000s, like the 90s and 2000s, like that jump kind of slowed in the teens. I feel like kind of like in terms of like jumps. Yeah, we have smartphones now, which came out in the teens. Right? No, I think
early. Late. I think. Well, no, the iPhone I think came out in
like 2009.
Let's see here.
We're gonna look.
Yeah,
that
I think you might be right on that.
Maybe the teens. I don't know. Ryan's gonna look it up, but I feel like
2007.
2007. Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
A lot earlier than I thought. Like we had all these cool things happen, and then the teens was just kind of like perfecting what we had already made.
Yeah, okay, I would say that. I mean, the Tesla came out into the teens and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm excited for like what we're gonna do in the 20s because I mean you can only improve on something so much. New technology is gonna come into play, and I'm really super excited for what's gonna happen. I would say that, you know, kids today, like we were saying, they don't go outside very often. Their playground is just like, they're not getting a lot of exercise. They're just sitting. I think VR is going to be the next generation's playground for sure.
We'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to end it right there. If you guys have some memorable stuff, if you're a 90s baby or an 80s baby that remembers the 90s, or you just want to talk about your childhood in general, feel free. The comment section is open for you guys. That's going to be it for this episode. Make sure you comment, rate, subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. If you're watching on the video, make sure you tap the bell button. If you're watching on YouTube, get notified when videos get uploaded. If you're over there on a mobile device listening to this on an audio platform, please rate this so that it gets put in the algorithmic flow so that people can listen to it. My name is Ryan. That was
Ashton.
And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Good night, everybody.
Can't pretend I'm perfect. I say things I don't mean. Stay with me, 'cause I believe in things that I can feel.